Hello everyone and welcome to Unacademy. So today's lecture is just an interactive one which tells about the various previous year questions. Now it is very good to solve previous year questions because they help boost confidence. But if you are not able to solve these questions, that does not mean that you don't know anything or you should not get depressed with it, because it can come after practicing. Also, I would like to add up here that it is very easy to solve questions in biology. It's just that there's a simple trick to it, that you should always read a question twice and the various choices given twice. This is because sometimes the question has some twisted form of it, but it is just a simple thing which is asked in the question. So patience is required to solve questions. It is not that something out of context is going to come, it's just that patience can help out solve many questions. So now let's start with it. The first question is, most organelle duplication occurs in. Now let us consider first, is it M phase or interphase? It is always interphase. During M phase, cell division occurs. During interphase, preparations occur. So cell organelle duplication occurs in interphase. Now interphase also have three parts: G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. During G1 phase, growth occurs, major cell organelle duplication occurs, and various biomolecules are also synthesized. That is what we have learned till now. During S phase, duplication of centriole and replication of genetic material occurs. During GAP2 phase, tubulin protein synthesis occurs, and some organelles like mitochondria, chloroplast and Golgi body are synthesized. So the most apt answer would be GAP1 phase. Why? Because during GAP2 phase, only 3 of the organelles are synthesized. Most of them are synthesized in GAP1 phase only. So the correct answer is option 1, GAP1 phase. Next, what happens in S phase of cell cycle? You have studied that replication of DNA happens in S phase, but the chromosome number just remain the same. So the options are: first, amount of DNA doubles; second, amount of DNA remain constant; third, chromosome number is increased; fourth, amount of DNA is reduced to half in each cell. So the correct answer to this should be amount of DNA doubles, because the number of chromosome remains the same, and you know that the replication of DNA occurs. If replication is occurring, that means DNA amount is getting increased. So this is the right answer. Next, during mitosis, ER and nucleolus begin to disappear at. Now this one is quite tricky. You should realize that metaphase is not the phase during which any of the organelles disappear, because metaphase is the phase which is mostly characterized by the formation of spindle fiber. So we should cut down the option of late prophase and early prophase. Rather, we should focus upon early prophase and late prophase. Now you need to memorize that whether it was early or late. I would tell you, during early phase, only chromatin material condensation and the centrioles would move towards the opposite poles. It is only during the late prophase that the various organelles, nucleolus and nuclear envelope disappear. So the correct answer to this is late prophase. Next is, during which phase or phases of cell cycle amount of DNA in cell remains 4C if initial amount is donated as 2C. This is another tricky one. For this question to be solved, you need to first understand the various phases of interphase and then the sequence of their occurrence. The various phases are G1 phase, S phase and G2 phase. Now the occurrence, they are in the sequential order. First occurs the G1, then the S phase and finally the G2 phase. Now let us look upon each option. The first is G0 and G1 phase. G0 is a quiescent phase which is observed only in some cells, during which cells do not divide. Just after G1 phase, the cells enter G0 phase. They have not entered the S phase, and you have studied that it is the S phase during which DNA replication occurs. So the first option is totally wrong, because neither in G1 nor in G0 phase DNA replication has yet occurred. So the amount of DNA is 2C only. Next option is G1 and S phase. G1 has already been crossed because it is a phase during which the DNA is 2C only. It is just the growth phase and DNA replication does not occur. But the second option is yes, because during S phase DNA synthesis or DNA replication is occurring. But as a whole combination, the answer goes wrong, because G1 is not the one but S is the one. So the combination goes wrong. Next we come to the only G2 phase. G2 phase comes after the S phase, and during S phase DNA has replicated, so it remains as such in G2 phase. So the probable answer can be G2. But let us also consider the last option, that is G2 and M phase. Now some of you might be confident with this G2 and M phase, that yes, this should be the answer. But no, the correct answer is only G2 phase. The reason being, during M phase, initially the amount of DNA is 4C, but as the sister chromatids are formed and they separate from each other, during the anaphase they separate from each other. As they separate from each other, the amount of DNA is restored back to 2C only. So the correct answer should be only G2, because during the whole of M phase the amount of DNA is not 4C, it is restored back to 2C in each sister chromatid. Next, the complex formed by the pair of synapse homologous chromosome is called, you should just remember the image and then the answer is very easy. It is a bivalent that is formed by the two homologous chromosomes, and this bivalent is formed during the zygotine stage itself. Next, identify the meiotic stage in which the homologous chromosomes separate while sister chromatids remain associate at their centromere. Now, metaphase is a phase during which separation of either chromatids or homologous chromosome does not occur. So you can cut off the metaphase 1 and metaphase 2 option from your list. You have to identify it between anaphase 1 and anaphase 2. Homologous chromosomes split only during anaphase 1. During anaphase 2, the splitting of sister chromatids occur. But it is anaphase 1 where homologous chromosomes separate. So this can be easily remembered through the image or the diagram that we drew, in which we have drawn the two homologous chromosomes splitting away from each other while the sister chromatids remaining attached to them. So the correct answer is option number 3, that is anaphase 1. The next question is, centromere is required for. Centromere is present in between the two sister chromatids. Now, this centromere's main function is to attach to the microtubules. Once it attaches to the microtubules, it can take these chromosomes or the chromatids away from the equator towards the pole during anaphase. So it is not involved in transcription, it is not involved in crossing over, it is not involved in cytoplasmic cleavage. So the answer is movement of chromosome towards poles, because there is a special structure called kinetochore present on the surface of centromere that attaches to the microtubules. Once it attaches to the microtubules, the bond is so strong that if the spindle fiber condenses or becomes short in length, these chromatids also condenses and become short, like they also shift away from the equatorial plate. Next, synapses occur between, the options are very vague, mRNA and ribosomes, spindle fibers and centromere, two homologous chromosomes, male and female gamete. It should be obvious that the answer is two homologous chromosomes. This process of synapses can only occur between the two homologous chromosomes. So this was a small brief previous year questions which were asked, and the only thing that need to be done is patience. Patience is required to solve all these questions. These are so easy. Once your concepts get clear, these questions are not a very big task. Thanks for watching. For more such courses, please stay tuned to Unacademy. Thanks.